Every CEO of every Fortune 500 company gets paid tens of millions of dollars a year. Guess what they have? A job. The CEO of Disney didn't start Disney. The CEO of Chase, Jamie Dimon, has a job. He just has a really good job, but he has a job. So the whole employee job thing, you have the ability to control your level of what you get paid. So then if you are a light to all the people and you work there and you're bagging up groceries really fast and you help the old lady with her groceries and you help every single person, do you think that you're gonna be worth more or less to Publix? Yeah. And then you'll probably get a what? Raise. Of what you get paid. If we all worked at Publix and you smiled at, how many of you have been to Publix in the last week? How many people did? Keep your hands raised if nobody said hi to you or smiled at you. Right, keep your hands raised if everyone that worked there seems miserable. So then if you are a light to all the people and you work there and you're bagging up groceries really fast and you help the old lady with her groceries and you help every single person, do you think that you're gonna be worth more or less to Publix? Yeah. And then you'll probably get a what? Raise. So if you're really, really good at whatever the heck you do, you will make more money no matter what. Regardless of whether you control that or not, you still control it. And so it's important for you to start figuring out, and you guys have notebooks. Everyone has a notebook, right? I asked that already. Yeah. Where are you going out the back door financially? Where are you giving away your own profits? Where are you stealing from yourself? If you're, how many of you are real estate agents? Raise your hand. Have you sold homes to yourself?
Yes.
Did you pay yourself a commission?
Yes.
Cool. Or did you say that you didn't have to because it sounds stupid? Why would I pay myself a commission? I'm just moving it from my checking account to my checking account. Doesn't that sound dumb? And did you pay yourself the same as you would everyone else, percentage-wise? You pay yourself more. That's great. Because if you pay yourself more, now when somebody tries to cut you on fees, you can be like, listen,
all these expenses.
I paid myself 5%. I'm only giving you 3%. So you're getting a 40% discount on what I would give my own self. So you should be grateful that I'm only charging you 3%. Stop trying to nickel and dime me. So where are you cutting out stuff out the back door? Where are you stealing from yourself? Where are you stealing from yourself? If you're in health insurance, life insurance, if you are in the loan business and you sell yourself a loan or you sell yourself a car, are you just going to bring your fees down as little as possible to make the car cheaper for yourself? Or are you going to pay extra for it so you actually put more profit in your pocket? One is about saving money, one is about making money. If you could save $500 or make $500, at the end of the day, you're still going to have an extra what? $500. But is it better for your system, for the valuation of your company, for the valuation of your grocery store, for the valuation of your bank account to save or make $500? At the end of the day, you're still net positive $500. Which one's better long term?
Make more.
Make more. Because then you have more what? Profit. And then if you have more profit, the valuation goes up. But that's only if you think short term or long term.
Long term.
And so what's the first rule of today that we're going to go through? How to think long range. How to think long term. How many of you know tomorrow we're going to have a trust and estate attorney? How many of you know how long a trust is valid for in the state of Florida? Throw out a guess. It's not forever. Huh?
10 years.
10 years? What else? What guesses you got? Give me like 3 different guesses. We got 10, 99.
Infinity.
And it's not infinite. I wish it was, but it's not. Huh?
It's what you still know.
It's 360 years. Which if you ask ChatGPT is 12 to 14 generations. How many of you know your great grandparents 14 generations ago? How many of you don't know your great grandparents' names? Like 2 back. I don't really. I could ask my parents. If you keep asking people, they'll probably figure it out. But how many of, if you're the Rockefeller baby that just got born today and you're 3 years old, what do you think they're going to teach you? They're going to say, your great-great-great-grandfather did what? Some really amazing things. All right, no, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole with what the Rockefellers did. But at the end of the day, did they have an impact on the world? And did they create a lot of wealth?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you read his autobiography, I'm not sure. We can go down the rabbit hole during lunch, one-on-one outside of this, but I think at the time, with the advance of civilization and medicine coming on and the education system being created, I think there were some opportunity that he just knew that he had to create more of this system. It ended up being the wrong system. And it created pharmaceuticals and bad food and bad education. But at the time, there were no pharmaceuticals and no education. And he did create mass growth in the United States. And we do live 40 years longer than we did at the time. So was it the best system? No. But are they the wealthiest family ever to be in America? Yes. And so how cool would it be if you did the same thing, but obviously now we have a lot more science, if you created, genetic health testing and everybody had the right food, no seed oils, all of that, took all the food system and changed it, and you redesigned the education system and you completely made an amazing situation where every kid learns about money and consciousness and God and respect and love, and all of the kids, everybody eats better, goes to school better, learns more, and that was your family. I mean, that's what the Rockefellers did. They just didn't instill the right values, but they did the right thing to be able to do that. What if that could be you? What if that could be your family? Well, that's not most families, right? This is how it breaks down for most families. This is the all-American family. All right, that's page 19, right? Or 27? Yeah. 27. No, yeah, page 17, sorry. Page 17 in the book. You guys all have a book, Becoming Your Own Banker, inside your bag. So this is what the all-American family, which is the typical person. Now in the book, Nelson Nash, on the left side of that little graph, because I have a little bit of a photographic memory, he says that on the very bottom of the first, or on the second paragraph, or first paragraph right there, he says that I'm using a 29-year-old all-American male making, what, $28,500 a year or something like that? Yeah, $28,500 a year, because I don't want you to think that you have to be wealthy to do this. Now we choose to work with business owners and real estate investors and successful people because you can sell the same thing to someone that makes $10 as they make $1,000, you make 10 times more money. But you don't have to. It just works better. And so the average person, and this is written in 2000, the average person spends 20% of their expenses on cars, 30% of their expenses are on housing, and 40% on living expenses. The challenge is that at the time he said that average savings rate in America was 10%. So this is in 2000, right before the dot-com bubble burst. Everything was really good for that 10 years of time. From 1987 to 2000, the economy was really good. And then it started going down. But at the time, does anybody know what our average annual savings rate in America is as of the end of 2025? Guesses?
2K?
Percentage-wise.
What was that?
7,
5%.
5,
Negative?
3.4%. That means, how many of you also, just for a show of hands, how many of you earn over 100 grand a year? Okay, cool. How many of you, your first financial target was 100 grand a year? That was my first financial target.
Yeah.
Cool. So that means that if you make $100,000, if you make 100 grand a year, let's assume that that's after taxes, just for the sake of my conversation. That means that you're spending $20K a year on your car, which is like $1,500 a month. How many of you think that's crazy that you spend $1,500 a month on your car? You're like, I only spend $1,000 a month on my car. Yeah. Well, have you counted that actually? What about the last time that you dented your door and you had to give them $2 grand? What about the little time that you had to get that repaired? What about all the service fees every time you take it in for an oil change? Are you only counting your insurance, gas, and car payment? Because that's not the only costs of your car. So now you have 20 grand on your car. You spend 30 grand on your rent or mortgage on your home. How many of you, your rent or mortgage payment is above $2,500 a month? Cool. How many of it's below $2,500 a month?
I mean,
Cool.
Is there an opportunity cost?
Huh? Well, no, factoring no opportunity, because there's always an opportunity cost, but assuming that there's not in the conversation, right? So you're spending, most of us pay more than $2,500 a month in rent. And then we talked about the rest of it is spending is 47 grand. That means the average person is saving, and this is not average, I'm going to use the word average in a negative way for a sec, but that means that if you make 100 grand, you spend 20 grand a month on your car, 30 grand a month on your home, 47 grand a month on your living expenses, which is 4 grand a month. So you pay $1,500 a month for your car, $2,500 a month for your home, 4 grand a month for living, and you have like 300, maybe 500 bucks a month left over to save or invest. All right. Does this sound like anyone's financial situation? Cool.
America.
All right. Well, what's crazy is the average person in America, I looked it up yesterday, average household income in America is 62 grand. Average rent in America is $3,000 a month. Average mortgage payment is 3 grand a month. Average car is $1,500 a month. And so how the heck are you supposed to, that's 36 grand, that's 18 grand, that's already $54,000. So without any food, you're saying you only have $8,000 left over? Obviously, that's why we're in debt. So we have a challenge when it comes down to money. And the first thing that we learn is if this is your expenses, you need to do what? Work. We need to figure out how we can save money. We're living in too big of a home, driving too nice of a car, spending too much a month on food and going out, so we try to look for ways we can save. But what's this person's real problem? They don't make enough income. You need to increase their income. So the all-American family has challenges when it comes down to money, and what Nelson Nash is emphasizing in this book is actually that out of this $20,000 of a year on the car, about 20% of it, which is 4 grand, is paying an interest. About 80% of your mortgage payment goes to interest. So 80% of 30, there's 24 grand a year on interest. And if you have any sort of credit card debt, you're gonna pay 55, 60%. You're like, well, my APR is 28%. You're not factoring compound interest at all. So the reality is you're gonna pay 50% on that money every single month, so 24 grand a year is going interest. In the course of the year, the average American is paying $52,000. That means half of your money, you make 100 grand, 52% of it is going to the bank. It's not actually paying your car, it's not actually paying for your home, it's not actually paying your living expenses, it's going to the bank in interest. You're not making any payments down on that thing. And if you make more money, chances are these numbers are just bigger. But it's probably the same situation because 41% of Americans that make 500 grand live paycheck to paycheck.